Hello everyone, this is Rebecca Jane from Yoga with Rebecca Jane. Welcome to our seniors yoga class. And just equipment you could see on the ground. Some of the equipment we have here you don't necessarily need to have or to own unless you wanted to buy it and take my classes. But I tend to use this tiny Pilates ball. And very lightweight. It could be a pound. These are 2 pounds, and a towel, and it's some type of scarf or belt. If in the future you wish to kind of practice with these props, but you don't need it. We can do without. Okay, we start each class sitting on our seat, making sure our feet are grounded to the floor. We call that rooting down when we talk about our feet in yoga. And it simply means that we're not just sitting here slumped over, that our feet, the whole foot, including the inner edge and the outer edge, are on the ground, as is the heel. The toes are on the ground, but they're not necessarily clutching the ground. So just think about the 4 corners of your feet, that they're resting. And if you can't reach your feet to the ground for whatever reason, make sure that you lift them up with a book or something that you could put your feet on. It's important that you're in a kind of a 90-degree angle shape. Your knees are in line with your hips. If your knees are lower than your hips, it's not going to work as well. We want to the key is with your classes is to concentrate on our posture, working on our postures, getting our shoulders nice and making sure that they're not slumping forward, that we're strengthening the muscles so we can sit up tall. Let's take a moment here and just take a moment to sit up tall. Find that nice tall spine. Imagine you have a rod on your back, attached to the crown of your head all the way down to your tailbone. And that rod is, at this moment feels a little bit rigid, but of course it's going to be very, very movable and, malleable. So for the first few moments, just sit up tall, and I want you to take your shoulders, lift them towards your ears and roll them back, and then soften them down. So let them soften down. Let's just start to connect with the breath. Take your one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest, and take a breath in. Let the breath fill the tummy and lift, keep breathing up, 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 and then exhale, draw the chest in and then all the way down to your tummy. And then inhale the tummy and then the chest, and then release. As you exhale, the chest pulls in, contracts the middle, and then finally your tummy pulls in. So keep doing this a few more times, inhaling and exhaling, getting the breath as high as possible. If you find you're really struggling with breath and it's getting stuck in your chest, or there's only a limit to how much you can inhale, you will notice at the end how much easier it is to breathe. But for right now, it's hard, especially when you first sit down, and maybe over time. Now take your hands off your tummy and your chest, and I want us to do 2 sets of what they call 7-11 breathing. We're going to take an inhale through the nose, and it's going to be 7 counts. You might not get to 7, but if you try and get to 7 and suck up a little bit of extra air through the nose, and then you're going to exhale through the mouth, and that's 11 counts. I will count for you. So take a breath. Exhale first completely through the mouth. Empty all the air out so you have space, and then take an inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then let's exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's take an inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And notice for now, we'll check in at the end of the class to see how your breathing is. So now we're going to just let our breathing just feel the natural flow of the breath. where you breathe in and you breathe out. And you breathe in. And we're going to start with just a simple cat and cow move. Nice way to warm up our spine. I'm going to spin around so you can actually see the side of me. You don't have to spin. And let's lean back. And then let's inhale forward. And let's exhale back. And inhale forward. Keep your mind's eye on your breath as opposed to letting it wander off, which is easy to do. You kind of get into this robotic way of living your life, where all you're doing is living in your head. And let's just start to, we're gonna do a little bit of a flow here, sitting flow. Just, I want us to go a little faster this time around, this practice. So, and if this is too fast for you, feel free to go slower. I wouldn't suggest faster. So just go as fast, try it. So what we're doing is creating like a little S. Think of a snake, creating that little snake-like movement with the spine. And then let's come up nice and tall, and let's just take the shoulders. So what you're doing is the hands are on the thighs, you're bringing your elbows back towards your sides, and then you're going to just release. So we're concentrating more on, right now, the pelvis does not move. It's just what we're working right now is actually the chest and the upper back. The lower back is staying almost still, not quite. And then forward and backwards, concentrating on this area here. Keeping your head still, keeping your pelvis still. And then this time, slide your hands to your knees and lean back and stretch out the full length of your spine. Recreate that curve. And then let's inhale, lift back up. Let's slide the hands all the way down to the ground. Make sure you're sitting on the chair. You're not too far on the edge of the chair, and your feet are pressing into the ground. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the ball. Hopefully you have it. If you don't have a ball, you mimic the ball, that the ball is in your hands. You're going to just use your fingers, use your wrists. So what we're going to do here is you're going to roll the ball forward with each hand alternating, and then back until first we start with stopping between the feet, then we take the ball forward and stretch. One, alternate between the hands, roll back in between the feet, and then roll forward. And then this time, bring the ball in front of the feet, and I want you to roll over to the left. If you find you cannot do this laying forward on the ground, then feel free to just use your hands or the ball and just swing from side to side. So there's different options. But if you can touch the ground, that's great. If not, and then do it that way, and then back to center, and then roll over to the right, and then roll back to center, and then to the left. And one more time, roll back to center, stretch again. See if you can go a little bit further this time. Pressing into each hand is separated. You're pushing into the top of that ball. And now you're going to take the ball back towards you and lift it up and slowly float back up. Take the ball between your legs, press between the knees. Don't have a ball? Pretend you have a ball. You can even put a block or a pillow between your legs. From here, we're going to just reach the arms up, and we're going to reach the arms down. Just let them swing. But as you do this, I want you to squeeze the legs. Take an inhale, lift up, and then exhale down. So swing them back behind you, palms facing one another. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, float the arms. As if you're doing this whole set in water. Lift up and then down. So you're in water and you have to push your arms through the water and then lift up and just keep the ball squeezing between the legs. It's not doing much other than engaging the thighs and the tummy muscles. Lift up and then lower down and then loosen up those shoulders. Now, keep the ball if you can and grab hold of weights or not. If you don't own weights, you can always get cans of soup or cans of something. But other than that, you can either use weights or not for this. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that same thing. We're going to lift the arms up. And we're going to slowly lower it down. Don't swing the arms. It's not, you don't want to, especially with weights, not a good thing to do. But it's really good with weights, as long as you're slow. So you're inhaling, and then you're exhaling, keeping the tummy nice and taut, or there's a softness to the tummy. You're not actually doing much, but just squeeze that ball. And so this is a little, and then lift up. And if you can hold those weights up, if you can do that. And I'm going to swing around so you can see what it will look like at this end. And we'll actually bring them down for a moment. Rest them because you're going to be too tired. With the weights or without the weights, you're going to lift the weights back up. And this time spin the palms forward so they're facing it forward. And then just bend the elbows. Just come to shoulder height and lift back up. Down and inhale up. And if you don't have weights, again, imagine you're pushing into water, that we're doing this whole thing in water, and down, and then lift up, and down. And as you do this, which I forgot myself, squeeze the ball. And then lower down, just shake out your arms. Just loosen them up. And let's come off of the chair. We're going to, you can swing the chair around or move so that the back of the chair is closest to you. Before we do our standing poses, which are going to be our leg strengtheners, or our body, really a whole body strengthener, I want us to take the ball between our hands and just what I call this washing your hands. So the actual ball feels like a piece of soap, but a big piece of soap. If you don't have it, I want you to mimic the ball in your hands. And what you're doing here is you're going to bend the knees. You're going to bring the ball down, maybe just a little, just to the knees, and then lift back up. And maybe lift the arms up and then down. So keep rubbing, and lifting, just working these arms, working these hands. And now squeeze the ball, and I want you to flip from side to side. So your hand it's like you have a pancake. The ball has become your pancake. And I want you to flip, but keep the ball between the hands. And do this kind of, you don't need a ball for this. You can interlace the hands and do it that way. And just rock from side to side as if this is, in a way, it feels like you're driving a car, but you're squeezing the ball simultaneously, working these side muscles. And then start to move from side to side. Now, so no longer driving the car, you're just swinging from side to side. If you go to the gym, they have these heavy balls, these weighted balls, and they do this, but obviously with a weighted ball. Lift back up from side to side, working these side muscles from side to side. One more set. All this can be done sitting down. You don't have to be standing. I suppose I should have mentioned that. But you don't have to. And then let's release. And let's just place the ball down and shake out our arms and flush out all that tension that we've accumulated in our arms. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into what they call a warrior two. So your feet Your left foot is underneath the chair, pointing forward. Your back foot is slightly turned backwards, so it's on a little kind of like a 45-degree angle. The heel of that front foot is in line with the middle of the back foot. The left knee does not go beyond the ankle, it's slightly behind, or it's right on top. Stacking on top is ideal. So, options here. Left hand on the chair, right arm reaches out. Or both arms out. So what you're doing here is you're going to soften the shoulders down, and you're going to hold this for a few breaths. But as you do this, I want you to press into both feet evenly. Make sure the outer edge of that right foot isn't not up off the ground, but that it's pressing into the ground. That your front foot, all four corners of that foot is on the ground. You'll start to feel this in a moment. So we're just holding. And we're just breathing here. So you should start to feel your muscles working, especially with guess in your arms. But your legs are, you're using pretty much every muscle in your leg to hold yourself up. Now from here, you can take your left hand down, take your right arm down for just a moment. Take your right hand, place it behind your right thigh. Left hand, you can slide that right hand back, and you can keep your left hand on the chair, or a little bit more challenging, bring your left arm over. So you're bending over towards your back leg. But don't forget your front leg. If you start to straighten that leg, bend it again. Nothing changes from the waist down, it's all from the upper part of your body. So you should feel this stretch in the back of that right leg, but make sure both feet are evenly distributing the weight. This is called reverse warrior in yoga. And then from here, reopen your arms, legs stay exactly where they are, keep the arms out. This time just flip the arms up, the whole arm, flip the arms down, flip the arms up, and then release the arms down. And take your left hand on the chair, and I want you to lean forward. Take the forearm on the back of the chair, so take this arm on the back, or if you can go further, place it on the left thigh. So it's either here on the back of the chair or lower. Your right arm is on the right hip. You might stay here, or you might lift your right arm up. So this is another version of a warrior, strengthener, stretcher, everything you can imagine in these postures. So let yourself breathe in and out. If you're not feeling anything, I would be shocked, because these are quite intense, even though we're not even moving. And then lift back up. And then just straighten your front leg and turn your left toes forward. And then from here, heel toe, if you can, with the support of your chair, heel toe your feet until they come back together. And then just shake them out. So flush them out. Okay, so I'm going to spin around. We'll do the other side. Say the right foot forward, left foot out to the side. Now we're on the other opposite side. So the right foot's pointing forward, back foot is slightly turned in. Make sure you can draw a line from the heel all the way to the middle of that back foot. Right knee is bent above the ankle or slightly behind, not beyond, okay? Because it's not good for your knee joint. And then reach your arms out. So warrior two. So you can do one at a time or both. And you're going to just reach away, breathe in, and breathe out, and in. Feel these arms, especially the second time around. When I was first doing yoga, I could not hold my arms up beyond, I don't know, a few breaths. My arms were extremely weak. Now it's obviously different. And then take that right hand back down on the chair. Bring your left hand behind your left leg. Keep your legs exactly as they are, and just lean back towards your back leg. You have the option of keeping that right hand on the chair or leaning back. Bringing that right arm back behind you, so you're squeezing the kidneys are behind here, the adrenal glands. So this is good for flushing out those glands and kidneys. Stretching, 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 stretching. And then let's bring the arms back into your warrior two. Now this time you're going to keep your right knee bent, your right arm on that top of that chair, left arm reaches up, or if you can go lower, place that right arm on that right thigh, but don't collapse into it, push into it. Lift up, open up that left side of the chest. You should be feeling stuff happening here. So if you look at yogis, most yogis are nice and thin and slender. Their muscles are toned. It's because of these type of exercises we do. Then inhale, I suppose I was a little bit more in the past. As I get older, it's a little bit harder. Reach the arms out and keep that right knee bent. So we're back to warrior two. So your arms might be screaming right now. Feel free to let them down. Otherwise, just flip the whole arm up and then flip them down and then release. And then turn your right toes forward and heel toe if you can. And you're going to hear lots of noises here. Back and then shake it out. So not a lot of movement, but a lot of strength involved. Let's do some figure. Actually, we're going to take the ball here, or not the ball. We're going to just do figure eights. But I want you to, I know what I want to do. I know exactly what I want to do. I want us to stir the soup. So I haven't done this in a while. So you can do this without a bowl. So imagine you have a big spoon between your hands and a massive tub of soup or pot of soup, and you're stirring, or your witch stirring your brew. But if you have a bowl, you're squeezing the bowl, and actually your legs are staying still. There's a bend to the knee. Bring the hands in towards your heart, and then sweep them out again. We're going in one direction a few times. And then we're going to go in the other direction, the opposite direction. Keep going. Stir your soup. We've done a lot of arm work. I'm going to switch over to leg work in a moment. And then let's release. So and take the bowl and just lower it down. So let's just do a few little swings from side to flush out those arms. Swing them. And just let them go and swing. And then let's do a few little swings forward and backwards. Opposite arm, just opposite arm. Your legs are doing nothing. They're just going from side to side. So swing forward and backwards. You don't have to come high. You can keep the arms just as high as the shoulder. I wouldn't swing too high here, just to let the arms loosen up a little bit. Flushing them out. And then just taking them and just flapping them down as if you're trying to get rid of something that's on your hand. Flap, flap, flap. And you can do this sitting, flap, flap, and then down. Okay. So let's just take your legs and just shake them out. Now we're going to do a balance where we're going to pretend we're walking. So what I want us to do is lift the right leg up. So I'm going to show you on this end. You can support yourself with the chair. I'll show you on this side. You lift your left leg up and then down and then up and down. So there's options here. I'm going to swing around because it's easier for me. Is your knees stay slightly bent and you lift up and straighten and then lower, bend and then straighten, bend. Try and keep the foot flexed so you can place it right down. So lift and lower. So feel free to maybe take, or a wall. So up and down. Feel that. Keep going and get used to what it feels like. And if this is too much, then just keep the toes on the ground and just do a little, keep the toes, but do the same movement, but with the toes on the ground. Let's lift up and down, lift up and down. Now what I want us to do is lift the right leg up and maybe hold it. And this might be where the chair comes in handy. If you can kick it forward and then bend, you can do this very low, yeah? Or you can do it high. Kick and bend and kick and then lower. Just shake it out, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Now pick your left leg up. Hold. Let's do a little bit of a hold here. See if you could do it without any arms, just to get used to being on one leg. You can support yourself with the chair and then just kick and straighten. You could do this lower if you need to. Kick, bend and straighten, and bend and straighten, and then lower down. And let's do some figure eights to loosen up our hip joints. And then let's come to our seats. So you might be relieved at this point. Let me make sure I have the time. Okay, good. Okay. So let's sit down for a moment. Let's take a few moments in a forward bend. Feel free in your forward bend to either stay in your chair or you can actually fold over by taking your bottom off the chair. And just let yourself breathe in and out here, just allowing the lower back to release. Maybe taking the opposite hand to the opposite elbow. Knees are soft. And then let yourself sit back down if you happen to be off the chair, but make sure that you find the chair first. And now what we're going to do is you're going to hug your right knee into your chest. So I'll show you how it looks on this end. And then hug your left knee into your chest. Flex the foot. And then hug your right knee. So very much what we just did before, but now we're sitting. And then left knee. This time, keep your right knee up. And I want you to place your right ankle on your left thigh. Make sure the foot is hanging off the thigh. Take your fingers, place them between each toe. If you're doing this for the first time, you might find it's really difficult to get the fingers in there, but will get easier. It's a great stretch for our toes. So do the best you can, and then what we're doing here, we're circling the foot, kind of like what I call turning the crank, and being extra careful here if you have any ankle issues, especially have had broken your ankle. So you just be very careful here. And then go in the other direction. And then keep your fingers where they are. I want us to push the foot forward and pull the foot back. So this is another area that you have to be really careful. If you have any problems with the ankles, just forward and back. Don't force any movement. You shouldn't feel any pain here. If there's pain, then you come out of this one. Should feel pretty good. And then take your fingers from away from the toes. Keep your left foot flexed. Take your right hand down, press it on your knee. Make sure your left knee and ankle are in line, that you don't have one foot, that foot isn't behind you. And take an inhale and exhale. I want you to lean forward. So try and get that chest to maybe even get as close to the shin without forcing it. And you should feel something, a little twinge, or not twinge, but some discomfort in that right thigh. That right bottom cheek. Not pain, but that you're doing something. That's good. And then lift back up. And then let's just take that leg off and just shake it out, flush out that leg. And then take your left foot, hug the knee into your chest, the left leg, and then place it on your left thigh, hanging the foot off. Right hand, fingers between the toes. I know some of us aren't used to touching our feet, which is me included, but you can always wash your hands, right? And then let's get the fingers as close as we can to the bottom of the where the space between the toes are, at the bottom of that little valley, those valleys, and then just circle. And let's go in the opposite direction, round and round and round. Feel that wonderful rotation of that ankle. Different way to circle your ankle besides just circling it as we typically would do without using our hands. And then push so push towards your shin and then pull away. So now we're working the Achilles tendon and that tendon that's on top of the foot, which I'm not sure what it's called, and be very gentle here, don't force it. Keeping our feet healthy at all times. And then release the hands from the toes. You're also working your fingers at the same time. Not a bad thing. And then take an inhale, take a peek, right knee and ankle are in line. Take an inhale and exhale, lean forward. So you might feel, I feel it more on this side than my other side. So we have, each side's going to be slightly different. And just let yourself take a few breaths here. And then let's lift back up and then release that leg and just shake it out. So notice for a moment before, and you can just take your knees from side to side. And notice for a moment when we do come back to stillness, or do your feet feel different? Do your hands feel different? It's as if you've just lightened a load off of your body just by stretching the muscles out. They don't feel so clunky anymore. We're going to do 2, 7, 11 breaths. So exhale completely through the mouth. And that's inhale, reach up, let's take a breath in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then exhale, slowly lower down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This time without, actually let's use the arms, it doesn't hurt. Take a breath in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And maybe, possibly, you notice a change, that it's easier for you to breathe. Let's take one more breath in. Let's reach the arms up and let the hands come together above the head. Let the hands float in front of your heart. So this is a gesture of just recognizing all the work that we've done together. And it's just a way of sharing our gratitude, my gratitude, your gratitude, towards each other for taking this time out. For me, it's you taking time out of your day to take care of yourself. And we know that once we take care of ourselves, we feel better, and that impacts other people. And not just people, but everything else, all other beings and animals and plants and all those things. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for this practice. Day 3 of 4 or 5, and I will see you next session. This is Rebecca Jane from Yoga with Rebecca Jane. I'll see you soon.